maybe we can just catch up real quick, do some silly activity. Have you guys ever done this rose and thorn where you say one good and one bad thing that maybe happened the last week? I can go. So I'm Torin. If you're new, I'm sort of co-facilitating with Olivier. I don't know if that's how I say it. Too American for this French. Yeah, I'm an assistant professor in statistics at Texas A&M. And so one good thing this past week, I went to a conference in Utah for statistics in the environment, and it was beautiful, all the leaves. But now I'm kind of paying for it, and I'm a little bit behind on lecture prep, so that might be my thorn. Neil, do you want to go?
Yeah, sure. Hi, everyone. My name's Neil. I'm at the University of Auckland, a PhD candidate here. And something good happened. I've been doing field work at night in the bush. It's just coming into spring and looking at spiders. A bad thing is I stood in possum poo last night. A possum is, I guess you have possums in the US and in other places, like marsupial thing. They're introduced in New Zealand and cause all sorts of devastation here. And the other thing is I'm really tired because I was out to 2 a.m. Counting spider webs. So, sure, I'll hand over to Oluwafemi, if I pronounce that right.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, I'm Oluwafemi. I'm from Nigeria. I'm currently a research fellow at the International Institute of Tropical Agriculture here in Ibadan. I am an agrometeorologist by specialization, so I'm hoping to learn more from the rpkgs book club. So I'll hand over to Ryan.
Hi, can you all hear me? Yes, okay. I'm Bryan Mcshane. I did my PhD in statistics at SMU in Dallas. Now I live in Chicago. And I've been using R for 10 years. I watched the video last week. That's what y'all did the intro on. So anyway, I've been using R for about 10 years. My one good thing, I've been working on a problem, details too complicated to go over here right now, but working on a problem for a long time, and I just solved a big part of it today, actually. So I feel really happy about that. I don't have a bad thing. I don't know. I missed last week. Sure, that's my bad thing.
Well, Chicago must be a little cold now.
Not yet. It just started getting like 65 degrees, so it's fine.
Do you want to call on somebody?
Is it Meenakshi?
Yes, yeah, you got that right the first try. Thank you. Hi, everyone. I'm Meenakshi. I'm an environmental health researcher / consultant. I'm also a certified RStudio Tidyverse instructor. I am calling in from Taiwan. That is where I live right now. I'm from India and I've lived in the US, and yeah, I just work on environmental health projects in US and Southeast Asia. And a good thing last week, I got to see my brother after a very, very, very long time. The bad thing is that that was a trip abroad, and now I am in quarantine in Taiwan. So. Very nice to be here. Can I pass this on to Jamie?
Yeah, hey guys. I'm from Australia, so I'm from Brisbane, which is on the east coast, so just above Sydney. I'm sort of like about 2 years into my PhD. And yeah, good thing this week I did a R package course yesterday, actually, which was really fun. So that was about a 6-7 hour course. So that was a really nice like jump in. So it means now that like reading the first few chapters have been much more digestible, which has been nice. And a bad thing is I've been just like so much marking to do, which I can't do in the day. So I'm having to do like late nights marking, which is just soul destroying. But I think we've all been there. Yeah, and I'll pass over to Virgilio. Is that right?
Yeah.
Great.
Helio. Okay, yeah. So for new people, I have been using R for 2 years, and I work at Penn neuroimaging, doing neuroimaging data analysis. And one good thing, well, I have this trip planned for next week, and I've just been like actually like booking, you know, my hotel and stuff. So that's, I mean, it hasn't happened yet, but I mean, I've kind of like done the work, so that's a good thing. One bad thing, I guess like I had like a disagreement with a friend, and we're like, you know, it's like whatever. Is that Olivier?
Sure, yes. I still have to change like my handle on Zoom just because I log with GitHub, I think. Well, so good stuff. Well, I'm geographer, so I work with a lot of spatial data, and I quite have managed this week to understand a bit how to correct geometry error. It's very boring, but it's a lot of boring stuff usually. So it's take you a lot of time. And the bad stuff is like 2 days ago while biking my kids to school, I hurt my back just biking. So I'm feeling old. That's all. No, it's better, but just touching the back. It's fine.
Oh, rough. Thanks everyone for sharing. I'm sure as it goes on, we'll, you know, feel more like friends. So this will help. Oluwafemi, are you ready? I think you should be
Yes.
able to share anything.
Okay. Can you all see my notes?
Yep.
Okay. So I borrowed these notes from the previous cohorts calling, so I just picked some notes, things, and edit the notes. So today we'll be looking at chapter 2 of the book, which is the whole game of creating an R package. So we'll be looking at the objective, in which we'll be looking at today in these discussions. We'll be looking at how to become acquainted with the entire workflow for developing an R package. Then we'll also look at how to observe the use of some common function used in the development workflow of R package, because we're using functions such as packages, such as dev tools, and also the use this package, which are the major package in which we'll be using when we are developing an R package. So we are also going to look at how to understand the process to develop, document, and test function that is used in the R package. We are also going to describe the process to install and experiment with the package functions. And then lastly, I'll just briefly look at discuss the roles Git and GitHub play in the development of our package, because GitHub will help us manage version control, track changes that is going on during the development process of our package. So first of all, the book kind of discuss that if we are trying to create a package, so we first of all, we need to load the library, DevTools, and once we load the library, DevTools is also going to attach the use this package. Is going to attach the use this package. So in this other section, so it was like saying what types of functions or tools are used during the package development process. So here we are seeing that functions in which we'll be using that functions that we'll be using to fulfill specific needs that we want to during the process in which we are trying to create our package. So we're also going to say, look, function used to facilitate the use of version control, because I'll be looking at Git and GitHub. We're also going to see functions to assist in the package development workflow, such as setting up the function file. We also look at how we are going to document our create a documentation using the ROxygen tool. And also we are going to see how we do some unit testing using the test.r package. So first of all, the book kind of saying that the initial workflow in which we are going to create the package is for us to use this function that is coming from the use this package, which is the create underscore package. And then we specify the path where we want these files to be placed, because we say we have to first of all decide where do we want to place this file that we want to use in creating our package. So once we decide that, we just specify the path and the name of the package, because the package in which we'll be demonstrating today is, just as the book do mention, is the reged sites package, which is for managing a regular expression. So once we run that function, so I'll do a brief demonstration. We are going to have these skeletons, these subfiles will be create the .rbig file, which is a file in which we are going to ignore when we are building the package. So we are also going to have .rproj file, which is a directory used by RStudio. We are also going to initially have the .git ignore file, the description file. The description file is like the package metadata. Is going to tell us who are the author of this package, what are the external packages in which we are exporting to use in our package. We're also going to see what are the licenses. Then we're also going to look at namespace which help us to deal with which help us declare functions. That is the function in which we are exporting from other packages. So which is going to be made available for use by the users. Then the main aim is the R file, which is the business end of our package, because the R profile, the R directory, this is where all the functions in which we are creating, they all reside within the R directory. So without wasting much of time, so we'll be looking at the process, the example, the package in which we want to create today. It's available via this link. So I'll just go back to my RStudio, share my RStudio. Okay. Okay, so just as they say, we have to first of all load the library, which is the DevTools. So once we load the library, DevTools is going to attach the use this package is going to be attached. So first of all, we use the create underscore package, which is coming from the use this package. Then within string, I just put, since I want to place this package, I want to place it in my desktop. So I say regex sites is a package in which I want to create. So once I run this, it's going to open a new RStudio session. It's going to open a new RStudio session, and it's going to drop all those files in a new session. So I'll just share the new, just share that. So it's going to open a new RStudio session. So it's going to give us a skeleton of the package. It's going to place the git ignore file, the rbuild ignore file, the description file, which is like the package metadata, is showing us it's a regex site. For now, it has not, it's just, it will give it a title. Then who are the author? For now, the author is taking information, because when I use, let me say library, because we are in a new station, DevTools. Okay, then I have edit edit our profile. So when I check my R profile, you can see because my R profile, I've already populated my R profile, so it already automatically detects that I have an R profile. It picks this information and puts it in the package metadata. So this is this. So for the licensing, for now, there is no license, but I will still go through all those processes. Then for this is putting all this information in the package metadata. Then for the R script, it's going to be empty for now because I have no R script at the moment. I have nothing, no function has been declared yet. It's going to be empty for the, for the namespace, which is always managed by, there is no namespace because namespace is like those functions in which those functions that are going to be made finally available for users. I have not written any function yet. I've not written, so there is nothing here. It's always said generated by R oxygen 2, do not edit by hand. So the first thing I would like to do first of all is for me to initialize my project, my package with a initialize it with a git ignore file with a GitHub. Is initialize this repository with a git. So for me to do that, I say use _git to initialize it with a git to make so that I'll be able to track changes. So he said, yes, I agree. It will ask me, do I want to commit this file to GitHub? I said yes, since I will be tracking changes. So it's going to start my RStudio session again. Okay. So when I do that, it's going to restart my RStudio session again. My files, they are still there. I've not declared any function here. So first of all, I still need to load my library DevTools, just as they said. So the first function in which I want to put in this script, the function is about dealing with string. It's about dealing with string. So for me to do that, let me drop this here. For me to do that, I just need to use this function use _r, which is coming from the use this. I think from what they say, str split 1, which is the string. When I run that, it's going to open a new R script. It's going to open a new R script. Okay, it's going to open a new R script. I already have a function there in which I copied. In my clipboard, I just paste the function there. I just paste the function and I save it. So once I save this function is already here in my R file. It's going to place this in my R file. So in order for me to experiment with this function, what they discuss in the book is that first, and it's also telling me that for me to run my unit tests, I need to use _test, although I will still come back to this. So first of all, I have to use load. I need to load all. So once I load all, I can experiment with this function in which I am creating. Is because the difference between this and a normal R script is that in my normal R script is for me to run my code, then my function will be made available in the global environment. Okay, or I can source my script, I run it, so it will make those functions available in the global environment. But in this case, DevTools makes the process of creating R package to be more easy, more simple. Instead of us to run it, we just need to use one function, load _all, to make this function available. This function is not in the global environment. This function is not in the global environment. And for us to check if this is true, is for us to use this function exists. So when we say exists, so we put the function there, str splits 1, then where Either we can use where or environment. So environment, I say global environment. Then I said inherit false. So when we run this, it's going to be false. But if we check with this and if we run it and we discover that we are having true, means that we are working with an out script. We need to restart our R. We need to clear our global environments, make sure everything is clear. Then when we run this function again, we should get false. When we get false, it means that everything is okay. But it's always good that because the book kind of explained that in each step, we should always commit our changes and always commit our changes. So once I go to here, I think there is a Git tab here. We can see that I've added this file. So it's for me to click on this. Then I click on commit. Then I put my commit message there.
We
Okay.
can't see the pop-up, so I'm not sure if anyone.
Okay, let me. Okay, I've seen it. Okay, so I'll just say add R, I think add R function for string string, just say string manipulation to be clear. Then I just commit it. Yeah. Okay, so let me go back to my R Studio, sorry. Regex sites, yeah, regex sites. Okay, so we have done with that. We have committed our changes. We have used R. Then the next thing for the book explain is that we need to run check, because it's always good at each step in which we always run check because check will always suggest to us possible errors, possible problem, so that we can able to fix this up. Because once we allow this to populate over time, the problem might be too much. So the next thing the book recommends is that we should run check. To check for possible error, it will run check across all. I think for now, I am expecting to get one error, which has to be with the notes, the MIT, the license. Yeah, so it's giving us one warning. And that one is suggesting the license because we have not given it a license. So for me to fix that, I still need to go back. First of all, before I will come back to this, for me to clear this warning, I need to just say use _MIT license, and I run that. Okay, so once I use _MIT license, already automatically is editing the description file. It's going to edit the description file because it's going to add the MIT license to the description file. Then it's going to add the license and also the license .md file. So these four files has changed. So I need to recommit this. Let me use the terminal this other time. Git add everything. Okay, so I commit it here.
Hey, sorry, Oluwafemi, can I just ask a question quickly, just before you leave your screen? When I was running in the session yesterday with this course I was doing, I was getting the same error with this LF be replaced with CRLF. I don't know if anyone else has got that error, but does anyone know what that means, or whether it's something we should be worried about? Anyone?
At times I do got this same error. I just ignore, but I'll go ahead.
Yeah, no, that's what I did, but I wasn't sure if we should be ignoring it or whether it should be something we should actually think about.
I don't know if any other person has more experience to share.
Which error?
Like the CRLF. Next time Git touches it error. Like I don't really know what that means.
I do not have it.
Okay.
see it. Can I run it like 2 days and I did not have this error. Let me check quickly, but I do not think I had it. I also use full terminal. I didn't choose the wrapper. So maybe, I don't know. Let me just check it too.
There is
Sorry,
a Stack Overflow thing as well. Oops, sorry, Taryn.
what was the command that came from?
I think git add.
Git add.
Yeah, that's when I was getting it too. But when you were running this, did you get that error when you were adding anything else? Because I think I only got it when I was like adding licenses.
No,
Yeah, maybe it's
I
a
do not
license
have,
thing.
there is no error.
Hmm.
Because it has staged all the files here for me to commit.
I think it's something with Windows. Do you use Windows?
Yeah, that checks out.
Yes.
Yeah, Google says it's something with the end of line in Unix is represented by LF, but in Windows it's represented with CRLF.
Okay.
So we can just ignore it then, do you reckon?
Oh,
I think so.
If you're Windows.
I'm in Ubuntu. I'm in Linux, so maybe that makes sense.
Yeah.
But it shouldn't pose. I mean, isn't license MD in Git ignore?
I think so. Let's
So
see.
it shouldn't have trouble. I mean, it shouldn't be added to the Git repository. It's still not, because
It's
like
not there. This is supposed to be there.
Yeah,
If-
because like you didn't add it to the.
Yes. Dot
You will add it soon, like.
R build ig. No. Yeah. Save.
So maybe
So-
this is that also.
So maybe I will check this.
Let me check my Git in here also.
Dot git ig. No. Save. Okay, so I will not stage these two files. So I can go ahead with the staging. Okay, add license.
Wait, hold on. If you're git ignore and git ignore, does that mean that the next commit it will now not listen to your git ignore and then just like
Okay.
I don't know. That's
So let me just
sounds like
say
an
add.
infinite loop there. Like if you're git ignoring the git ignore and then you commit that, then it will say, okay, well don't watch git ignore, which means it thinks there isn't a git ignore, and so it won't actually apply to git ignore. Do you know what I mean?
You shouldn't add git ignore on the
No.
Git ignore list, but I think it will just keep the old one on the Git directory.
In the text, Oluwafemi, at line 7, you probably want to delete that.
So I should remove these two.
I think that like test this and stuff should organize the git ignore for you. Like I don't know. I'd be worried that if we started manually editing it, then like when you try to install it, it won't actually.
That should be fine if
Okay.
if you ignore yeah.
Let me
It's
see.
actually save it.
Okay.
Add
Yeah,
license.
I mess with my
because-
Git ignore all the time and it's work. I mean, I don't ignore it, but like I am
Yeah.
adding stuff manually to it, just like weird syntax, and you can definitely make error doing it. But yeah, it's useful to edit it by hand, I feel.
Okay.
Anyway, maybe it wasn't that, but I remember in the chapter they said something like where you shouldn't push the license MG. Let me check also.
Okay, so this is the stage we are now. We have committed the license file, The next thing I want to consider is the package metadata, which has to be the description file. So once I click on the description file, it shows this. It shows that the package is what regex sites. So the title, I need to give it a unique title, which they said make regular expression more exciting. So I'll just remove this from what they describe, make regular expression more exciting. So that is for the version. We leave the version there. Then for, I think, the description file, they said convenience of convenience functions to make common tags. Common tags with strings manipulation. With string manipulation and regular expression a bit easier. Yep. So what again? So for now, this is what we have. Once I save this, we need to commit it again. Add description, I'll just say add a description file. Push this, close this. Oh, sorry. Regex sites. I'll just say close, add description. I'm sorry, I'm not sharing that screen. Add description, and I commit it. So it will go. So we are through with the metadata, which is this. So the next thing now is for us to look at how we can generate the documentation, which is the help file for this package. So I will still need to go back to my R folder and click on my function again. And for us to generate the documentation, which is always done using the R Oxygen tool. So what they discuss in the book is that once we are in any line from this point, we just need to click on code. So once I click on code, and we come down to insert R Oxygen tool, the keyboard shortcut, if you are using Windows, is going to be Control plus Alt plus Shift plus R to insert the R Oxygen tool skeleton. Then if you are on Mac, it's going to be Command plus Alt plus Shift plus R. So once I click this, it's going to insert the skeleton, which is the R Oxygen skeleton in the code. So here, I just need to give it a title. So just say string manipulation. So it takes an input. It takes a input, which can be a vector, I think let's say is split. Just leave it split. It returns a list of outputs. Export, then we can give it an example where we can say we have X is this. We can say we have tall. Let's say we want to split this string. We have short. We have white. Okay. We have blue. Okay, so we have str split 1. So we pass in our X and we are passing our split, which is equals to this. Okay, so this is all the skeleton for the example. We have given the example, which is this. This is the example in which we have here. We have given the return value. So I just need to save this. So once I save this, is all automatically detect that I've made modification to the script. And in order for me to document this, because documentation is going to create documentation in the man folder. For now, the man folder is empty. So for me to document that, I just need to press document.
Oluwafemi, can I just quickly interrupt? Sorry, I just wanted to mention something that what you found yesterday. That so with the examples, I found yesterday that I had an error in my code in the example, and when I tried to build my package, it kept giving me error. I just assumed that the examples part, it didn't actually run it to check it actually worked, but it does. So it's probably best just to always run your example first, check it actually works. You haven't made some coding error, and then put it as an example. Because I was having all these problems like, why isn't my thing stalling? It kept failing, and it was because I had like incorrectly specified code in the examples. I just assumed that didn't run. It was just literally
yes,
like
I think
text
that
was printed. But it actually,
yes,
I mean, that
yes,
yours works. Just as something I observed yesterday.
Well,
Let
there's
me
a
run.
typo. There's a typo, so it won't work.
Let's test it and see. So we have str
You
splits.
forgot the S and str split in the middle. I think that's
It's there in
no,
the
no, no,
function.
in the example.
Line 11.
Line
But
11.
Yes,
It
You're
will fail on
missing
the
an
check.
S.
it will work. It will work. It will work.
No, no, no,
STR
no. Go to the left. You forgot an S. Yeah, right there.
Yes, STR
So that's
splits. Yeah.
interesting that.
So let
Okay,
me
so,
let
yeah.
me redocument it. Let me
But
regenerate the documentation.
it should fail on the check, no? This is the check that does that.
Yes.
Or what? I don't remember. Like the document
No,
will
the
just
check.
like
The
populate.
check is just
the
checking through the package for possible error, and it will suggest possible error. But the document is generating this documentation, which is it will use roxygen2, which is like latex. These are all latex code is put in here for the documents. So let's check this function that the function is doing what is supposed to do. Str splits 1. Then splits, which is the object is X, then splits by a comma, the function is working. So the function is working. So the next step in which if we do the documents is doing two things. It will generate the documentation, and it's also going to add something, it generates another function here, which is the namespace, which is very important because the namespace contains functions in which is being exported, in which the users can have access to. Once they load library, regex sites, they are going to have access to those functions. So once I look at the namespace, you can see export str splits 1. So once you attach this library, you always have access to this function. So for now, our package is working fine. So let's just look at the check again to see possible problem that will happen to this package. It's still showing warning, argument item with no description in our D file, which is the documentation. str splits. So we need to look at the documentation again. It's complaining, warning, RD object str splits. Okay, it's str splits 1. So go back to here. Okay, this is where I miss it.
I think it's talking about line. I think it's talking about line. I think it's talking about line 4. Is that right? I don't know.
Yeah, so it should be a character or something.
Object to split. So let's document again.
Isn't split the thing that you're splitting it with? So for example, comma was what you used a second ago to split your comma separated vector.
Yes. So let's check again for possible error. I expect it to pass now.
But like it didn't show the error like it showed the first time, no? With the
It only
CR or
showed
something.
it showed one warning about the documentation.
Yeah, but not the error we talked about, like that may be related to Windows. Was it
No.
the check that produced that error? I don't remember.
Oh no, that was with Git. That was something
Oh,
else.
that was Git. Okay, so no,
Yeah, yeah.
other stuff.
Can I ask, Oluwafemi, what's the export function in the Roxygen there? Like, what does that actually mean?
Okay,
like, why have we not provided something with export?
No, automatically, the export function is going to export all the function in that script.
Okay.
It's going to export those functions and place them in the package namespace. Because if you come back here to the namespace, I have only one function in this script, which is str split one. Then, so it's going to make sure if you have 10 functions, it's going to export those 10 functions and place them in the namespace. So once you just do library, attach the package, so the users are going to have access to that function, all those functions. So for now, check shows that no error, no warning, no notes. Everything is okay at this stage with the package. So for us to do the next thing, since everything is okay, we can run our tests. We can run our tests run our test coverage of the package. So I will just say use underscore test test that, which will add a new file here, called tests. Okay, and it generates a script for me. It generates a new R script, which is, and it said library test that. The package is reget site, test check, which is reget site. So, and it also makes some suggestion that we should use test that. Okay, so when I use test that, use underscore test, then on what? str split one, because that is what I want to run tests on. Okay, then I run test. Sorry. Then I run tests. I run tests, which is going to do a thorough text coverage of the package, and if there are error, it's going to return. And for now, it's telling me for everything about this package that the package, after running the test coverage, is telling me that everything is okay. Sorry, the initial step I did not commit, both the man. So let me just commit this from the terminal git add again. Add everything, then commit. So add documentation and test coverage. Add documentation and test coverage. Okay. So that is that. So what is the next step for me to do? We have done the test. This is the package. We have gotten the test, we have gotten the R, we have gotten the man which contains the documentation, we have gotten the description file, but there are some instances in which we can have packages, we can have a function in which we want to bring in from other packages. We can use add, we can just use this function, use underscore package, then we can call the package here within string. We call the package here, and the type of the package, either the default is always import, but if we want it to be depend, we can put depend here within string, or we can say suggest, because we might want to use functions that are coming from other packages. So this is also a very handy way for us to add it to the description file. So the next one step now is for us to, before I push the package, before I push this final package, is for me to add my README file, because which is the help file in which the users, because once I push the package to GitHub, so we need to initialize it with the README file, which is like the home page. So I'll just say readme use underscore, it's in readme.rmd. Yep. So once I run that, it's going to add this README file. Automatically, it's going to show that it's a GitHub document. It's going to give us all the information we need. It's a regex site. We are going to specify library regex site. How do you want the user to install this package? We need to specify that here. So let me say, for example, for this case, I can say use this install underscore GitHub, since the package will be in GitHub. Then for my GitHub is BB, I'm using BB1464. Then the name of the package is regex sites. So that is that. So we can just do some tweaking. So once everything is fine, then for this, I don't need all this. I'll just delete all these example plots. Let me just assume this is what we have. We can just say build readme, which is going to build the readme.md. It's going to add a new file called readme.md, which is a markdown file that will post to GitHub. Still coming up. Yeah, so it just added the README file, which is exactly the file GitHub is looking for, which is this. So the next step for me to do is to commit this again, add README, git add. So we say add README file.
Still here, the warning.
Yes. Add README file. Add README file. Okay. So I've added the README file. Everything is fine. So the next step for us to do before I install a package on my system, before I install the package, if I need to do the check again to see that everything is fine with the package in which we have just built. I need to check if everything is fine, then I can install it. Then I can now attach it. Then we experiment on the package. Yep, so it's showing 0 errors, 0 warning, 0 notes. So the next thing is to just say, use the last function, install. So it will install this on my system to install the package. So I can now say library, regex sites. Okay, so I can now call the function str_splits, one which is coming from my regex site. Splits is a string, I call it x, splits by comma. So the package works. So the next thing the book discussed is for us to push it to GitHub. So the last function is use underscore GitHub, which will now create a new repository in my GitHub repository. Then we'll to push all these files we are seeing here, it will take it to GitHub. Oh, the description file. Absolutely. Yeah.
What was the difference between absolutely not and no way? I was like, what?
What? But it works, but it did not give me what we need to go back. It works. Let's share the screen. This is not my house studio. Am I sharing my house studio? Oh,
Yes, you are.
is it house studio?
Yes.
Okay. Absolutely. Which is this? No, this is the notes. Regex sites. Okay. Git remote push authentication failure. What is wrong with it? So let me see. So let me run it again. Use GitHub. The remote repo with value git at GitHub. It already creates the repository. Yeah. Let's see, but it did not put slide guide. Close it. I've closed it. No. I've closed it. There is a repository they just create. Let me go back to my GitHub.
Look at all those tabs.
Yes.
Oluwafemi, you beat me. That's why your checkout.
Yes, there is a repository. Let me reshare. Let me reshare that. There is a GitHub repository. That is my GitHub. This is the repository. I think it's Regex site, but it did not put, I don't know why it's like this. So I think that's all I have for the chapter, but I'm so sorry. The last part, I missed the last part.
Yeah, the last part I wasn't sure either. I copied, I don't know. I followed the Happy Git book and like made my repo and
But
like
I used to use
project.
underscore
and-
GitHub. It will just push all my file back to GitHub. I don't know why I got this error, but I'll fix it. Or
Did
maybe,
you actually push?
yes, yes,
Okay.
yes.
I don't know.
So
Git's
that
not my
is
strength.
all I have. I don't know if
Yeah.
there are any
Thanks so much.
inputs.
You did great. I think the only thing you kind of skipped was how they replace the files when you want to change the function name. I can't remember what section that was.
Oh, let's see.
Oh, I thought that was kind of cool though. So you don't have to like manually go through and change all the function names when you want to change your function. I can't
Okay.
remember. Do you remember what I'm talking about? Because they changed to the stringer.
No, the one I can recall is that they renamed the file.
Yeah.
I recall there is one part
Remove,
there.
rename underscore files.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes,
It's in
yes,
Section 217. So if anyone
yes.
needs to catch up, that's one thing to check out.
This is a really hard chapter to cover because it's basically the entire book, but in one
Yes.
chapter. So I don't remember. I obviously haven't read this book yet. That's why I'm here. But I feel like when I've looked at the source code for packages, I usually see it written like I think it's stringer : string split, for example. If you're going to use a string split function, I think you're supposed to name the function, the package from which you're getting it. And I know
Yeah.
I think stringer is a fairly, like, if you do that, if you open up the tidyverse, it automatically comes with stringer maybe. So most people have it. But I think I don't know when it's going to cover that. That was one thing I noticed that we didn't talk about today. But again, there's so much to talk about. We've got the whole book ahead of us.
Yeah, so they mentioned that that format, Ryan, is fully explained in section 10.4. On how to call function from another package.
That is from the namespace.
Yeah. Anyway, great job. Thanks so much. I know it's like the middle of the night for you.
It's already morning. It's already morning. Yeah.
Any other comments before we wrap up? So next week is Howard on chapter 3. It looks like a really short one, actually. So we'll probably have lots of time for discussion next week.
Or is it possible that we merge some chapter together because some chapter is short?
Yeah, I see that chapter 3 is like very short. Maybe I can. I don't know. Yeah, maybe. Well, Howard's not here, so I don't want to sign him up, but maybe I'll message him and we can combine 3 and 4 and just move everything up, unless people were like signed up for specific chapters for a reason and not the days. Does anyone have any hesitations to that? No? Okay. Okay, I'll message Howard and see if he'll do 3 and 4, and then we'll keep the same days, but just move the topics. Okay, cool. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Yeah. See you next week.
Okay.
See you next week.
See you next week.
Thank you.